So today, I'm really happy to welcome Rachel Ní Bhraonáin to talk to her about her work and her practice and her collaborations. She's a dance artist who does multidisciplinary work, vertical dance, collaborations. You just saw her film Born of the Trees, and we're going to hear a little bit from Rachel. Maybe you could tell us a little bit about yourself and your work, just to get to know you a little bit.
Sure, yeah, thank you for having me here, and hello to everybody watching. My name is Rachel, I'm based in Waterford. As you said, I'm a dance artist and I make multidisciplinary things. So sometimes it's on stage, sometimes it's on screen, like tonight. And I like to work with vertical dance in particular. I'm generally really interested in aerial, and then I'm also interested in theatre and just bringing everything together to basically whatever is the best ingredient to make the piece work. I had a show last year called Losing Your Body at the Dublin Fringe Festival, which maybe would have gone on tour this year, I don't know, but that didn't go ahead. So this summer I started getting a little bit more involved with film, and I made a new film called Marion. This film that we're seeing tonight was actually made last summer, and I think just through the grace of having time this year, we've been able to finish editing it and entering it into competitions and things like that, so festivals. So we've been kind of trying to make the most of this time as it is with film and working with that.
Right, so you're a dance artist, so your training is in dance, and then you began to move into particularly aerial, but you had a bit of a journey kind of exploring circus practices.
Yes, exactly. So about a year after I graduated from my dance training, I was on a week-long course with a company in England called Upswing, and they taught me some various types of harness apparatus, and just tried out lots of different things. And a whole new world was opened up to me. I had no idea that you could, first of all, that you could study this and that you could get a career in it. I just thought that circus was very traditional and that you were kind of born into it, or that sort of thing. So that started me off, and then I went on to a more full-time course with that company and another company called Scarabaeus, who I later worked for quite a lot. And Chantel, who runs Fidget Feet, has also worked for Scarabaeus. So there was a lovely connection there, and I really realized what a community there is in circus, and it's almost like a family. It's amazing. And through that course, I then got onto a course in Ireland called the Creative Intensive with Fidget Feet, and that runs every winter for about 3 weeks. I've just always been mixing the two art forms together, sort of born out of the fact that I don't have enough time to train as intensely as you need to be like a really high level aerialist. And so I found my way to use it, and I just once you've discovered it, it's hard to let it go. It completely changes your perception of how you can move your body and what you can do. And vertical dance then came along, and it always felt the most like dancing to me.
I'd love to hear a little bit about your collaboration with her, and how that process was a little bit, and a bit about the film, and it's maybe how it got to where it got to.
Yeah, so what happened there was sort of a lucky timing, in that when I was free to go over to visit Magali was a time when she had a residency in the Tapada, the park in Mafra, and so that's in Portugal. And while I was over with her, we were just going there every day for a week, and we really couldn't believe how beautiful it was. She hadn't been there before. I was with her on her first day, and we were completely taken aback, and we knew that we wanted to capture it on film. So we got a camera person called Eduardo involved, and I think his camera style adds to the feeling that you said you got from it, which is that he moves with us, and so you can kind of get lost in the action, which is really important to get through the screen and let people feel it. It's different when you see it live. You don't need that. So anyway, we got very excited, as we do, got very into it, and we decided that we'd get him on board, we'd film, even though we had like very little time really to research it. So in the long term, we'd love to go back and film it again, and even make a longer film or something with even more of a narrative, but we couldn't let that opportunity pass us by. So we just jumped in, and we had this piece of music we were working with the whole week, so we got in touch with the musicians, and they kindly gave us the rights to use it. So it was one of those moments when everything just comes together, really.
Amazing. And was that your first time working on trees like that moved in that way?
Yeah, that was my first time. Magali had been on trees before, but they were very different. I think the trees she had been on had much more texture, and probably in some ways were probably more difficult also because the bark was falling off more. Ours were very smooth. which was lovely to land on, but sometimes slippy. And yeah, overall, hilarious experience and beautiful. Like some of it was very moving just to work there. You just hugging a tree all day is like quite a beautiful thing to do. And at times quite difficult as well, but in a good challenge, you know. It can be hard to feel pleasure when you're wearing an aerial harness. They're quite painful. So those moments of pleasure, you know, they're something to grab onto and hold on to because they're a
Yes,
rare
great.
experience.
That was another thing that I did notice, because the equipment is as it is. It's very practical harness.
Yeah, we did make some choices around costume. We tried a few different things on, things that Magali owned that were purpose built for hiding harnesses when you perform. Um, and it just felt like this wasn't the type of piece where you're trying to hide anything. It was more about being kind of natural in what you were doing. And yeah, we had, the ropes were very long because of the trees being so tall, so we did have huge amounts of rope with us. And I think there is a certain thing of just showing it right at the start and letting the audience just forget that it's there, basically.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. Well, thanks so much, Rachel. It's so nice to hear about all the work you're doing. And
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing more and hearing more. And please keep in touch with all of your wonderful work, and best of luck.
Will do. Thank you, Vivian. Thanks for having the film as well.
Of course, our pleasure. Thanks so much.